Aaliyah Boston is not Caitlyn Clark's mammy. Just because she's the tallest or thickest black girl on the team does not mean she has to be the enforcer. That is not her personality.
Dawn, you've got to have some conflicting emotions about the way this unfolded, in the sense that, like a parent, you may not be happy with one of your children did, but if they're standing up for their sibling, part of you is really proud of that too. I mean, you talk about how close this team is.
Yeah.
They showed they stood up for one another no matter what the situation was. That's got to be it's got to be something to balance there.
Yeah, there is. And a lot of people ask me to compare last year's team to this year's team. That would have never happened in last year's team. Because they would have been so political about it. If that would have happened, and Aliyah would have probably just been the referee and just kind of, no, don't do that.
On Saley, she said that people always ask her the difference between this year's team and last year's team. And she said that the fight that happened in the SEC championship game would have never happened because you would have been the referee.
Oh, for sure.
Later.
Oh, for sure. I'm like, we don't have to do that. I'm like, let's just hoop and be happy.
Let's listen to a bunch of men insert themselves into women business.
My issue and my question is, where the fuck are her teammates at? Where y'all at? Where the rest of the Indiana Fever at?
Matt Barnes said some stuff. I agree with him. Matt Barnes said, look, y'all need to, your teammates, Caitlyn Clark's teammates, he took them to task for not protecting her. You look at Aliyah Boston. She was right there when Clark nailed Caitlyn and just didn't even think about doing anything. She one of the biggest girls on the court, didn't even go, you know what I mean?
Whether it's the Fever having to bring on a goon, right, or an enforcer, because Aliyah Boston watching that from the baseline and not immediately chirping, right, Kennedy Carter after that happened, you need to do something to combat that. You have to have something to combat that from the Fever, because I understand what we're saying about, all right, there's women who, we can't generalize the women in the WNBA by casting this wide net as to say all of them dislike Caitlyn Clark. Well, what about the 10 that are on her team that have yet to come to her defense in any of these situations? So I'm not going to generalize the Fever not liking her, but if the 10 other people who are wearing your same jerseys aren't coming to your defense when you're seeing flagrant, blatant stuff like this happen, then we have an issue.
Why is that an issue? A lot of y'all keep bringing up Aaliyah Boston's name as a sort of a protector, but the truth of the matter is that is not her style. She is not the enforcer type. She don't do the drama or chaos. Her personality type has always been to follow the rules, to do her job, and to praise her God. That is it. This is the first season we've ever even seen her get into her own scuffles because she shies away from them. She's not going to jump in the middle of somebody else's mess. Look at her here. She don't like it. It is not her style. And let's not forget, it was Caitlyn Clark's fans that made Aliyah Boston delete her social media. All the hate comments and all the criticism and racist bullshit that she was getting because she wasn't playing good in the first few days, those were Caitlyn Clark new fans. And not one time did Caitlyn Clark check them. So why the hell is Aliyah expected to be her enforcer?
They are definitely feeling this early attention on them. I spoke with Aliyah Boston today, and she said, I've had to delete Twitter from my phone. She said the only safe app right now is TikTok, where it's friendly and she can scroll fast if there's anything negative. But they're feeling it.
After that came out, somebody tweeted, the amount of vitriol this Fever team has faced because they weren't meeting whatever unrealistic expectations fan had is uncalled for. And this the one right here. Caitlyn Clark fans brought that horrible stand behavior to the WNBA. That's absolutely no fault of Caitlyn Clark, but it's definitely solely her fan base responsible for it. I do think it is slightly Caitlyn Clark's fault, though, because she see all this mess. We see her fiance and her brother Twitter likes. It's a bunch of racial motivated tweets. They talking trash about opponents or teammates. We see that. So I know she see that. I know she hear the fans. Not once, not ever do she get online and check them. Even when her teammate had to delete social media, she can't do the bare minimum. But her teammates are expected to hold her down and have her back after she's been talking trash all game and pushing off and firing the opponent up. Hell no. You fight your own battle.